413-535. Women need men to teach them how to drive. They could never figure it out for themselves as men do. Besides, can you imagine one woman teaching another to drive? Stick to cooking.
Good morning. I was just calling to let the town of Greece know that after 7 long days, I was finally rescued out of a deep pothole on Denice Road. I think maybe the town of Greece should consider having a pothole rescue squad for Denice Road in Greece. Come on, you guys, let's get with it and pave the road.
20 p.m.
I feel that the city of Rochester is going downhill fast. It's a no-way, no-win solution. The city is just a dump, just like Buffalo. But Rochester's number 1, Buffalo's number 2. It's time to move on to a better city, to a better place. Goodbye, Rochester.
Men are not God's gift to women. In fact, God made man first, but then he looked back and said, I can do better, and he made woman.
I understand that Governor Cuomo signed a new law requiring the use of seatbelts by new drivers, and that New York is the first state to have such a law. I guess the other 49 states are still trying to decide how to define a new driver. By the way, how will the police know if someone is a new driver, much less wearing a seatbelt? Will they stop anyone who looks young? What about the middle-aged person who finally decided to get a license? Can you tell whether the person in the next car is wearing a seatbelt?
In regards to the woman that just called in and claimed that God could make somebody better, so he made women. Well, you might say that.
I just called the Rochester Telephone Business Office. The time is 9:19 a.m., and I get a recording that says, the Telephone Business Office is open Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. So, who's in the office?
I'm calling to complain about those lousy announcers on Brighton Panorama TV roll-offs. Why, those guys are just terrible. I can remember back when I was just a little toddler and Gary Smith used to do the show on Channel 8. Did a hell of a job, Gary. Didn't you have a crew cut back then? Thank you.
And my gripe today is that I'm sure glad Reagan's taking all these trips. What is he, afraid he's not going to get reelected, so now he's going to take all these trips to China? I think it takes a lot of guts to spend all our taxpayers' money like that.
In response to the alleged man who called in an attempted thought regarding women drivers, he apparently took time away from such manly things as spitting and swearing to demonstrate his way of coping with a brain that would make Brontosaurus look like Einstein and an ego that would make Howard Cosell look like Mother Teresa. After this heroic, albeit unsuccessful effort at mental activity, one can only hope he has returned to his normal state, catatonia.
The legal action being taken against Brighton Ambulance bugs me. From experience, I know that a lot of volunteer ambulance personnel are a lot more dedicated to their work and more knowledgeable than paid personnel. I'm not saying that all paid personnel are poorly trained and motivated, but the volunteers are the persons who give up their time, usually money, to take courses and better themselves and ride the ambulances 24 hours a day free. I think Mr. Heisel of National Ambulance should consider the welfare of the people of Brighton and how to save them money and get better service rather than that of his own pocket. Certainly he is a businessman, but shouldn't he consider the wants and needs of Brighton residents?
Hi, I was wondering regarding people's cable TV, where do they hire their people, and is there some type of a prerequisite that they have to be rude? I've never had any dealings with that company and not had any problems with the people there. I wish to compliment them on their people.
I wouldn't say women drivers are bad, but I would say they are weird. I was behind such a woman driver at a traffic light, and the light changed to green, and she sat there for at least 15 seconds. I used my horn to alert her of the change, and her passenger yelled out the window to me that she, the driver, was waiting for her favorite color.
Shame on you, Dick Tobias, for sitting there and stereotyping volunteer firemen. I hope you don't live out in the county.
I just heard the grouch about the man who called in regards to Lois, the East Rochester dog catcher, and I can't believe that that would happen within an hour. She has always been a wonderful person. There is a strict leash law in East Rochester. She personally has called us when our dog got away, has even brought our dogs back to our home. I can't believe that that would happen within an hour to his dog. There has got to be more to that story than what he relates. And she's a woman doing a job that really nobody else wants to do. Thank you.
You know what I think bugs me more than the potholes in the road? Is these jerks that are smoking their cigarettes. They get their window rolled down because the weather's nice, and they flick the butts out the window. I think that's disgusting. I mean, these butts, these grimy butts are laying all over the road and all over the side of the road. Where's a cop when you need him for littering? You pull up to a stop sign and you look down, somebody's dumped their ashtray in a road. They ought to limit smoking.
I think it's absolutely ridiculous that New York State still has not given me back my back taxes from last year. I've received my federal taxes for this year and have not received my taxes for from last year. Thank you.
Hello, I was wondering if it's possible to be able to extort money out of the city for hitting potholes legally and swiftly. Thank you.
Son, I've heard all kinds of people complain about women drivers or about women complaining about men drivers. All I can say is they've never driven with my wife. Thank you.
Help! I'm calling from the bottom of a pothole. Help!
I am so mad that I filed my income tax return in February so I would get a quick refund. It's been that long, and I called today to check on it, and they said it takes 15 weeks to be processed. Well, next time they send me a notice that I owe them money, I'm going to send them a letter back saying it's being processed.
Pete Saston, how soon you forget. The Rochester's weather is crummy. You beat it out west, other climates to test. Now you want to come back. Oh, you dummy. Lake effect is still here. We're still guzzling the beer, and all of us waiting for spring. But snow squalls in May are just part of our day. We just wait for an hour, it'll change. So come on back, Pete. I always thought you were neat, 'cause I like the winter time too. And 78 turned out to be great. I took the kids to the zoo.
Yes, good morning, gentlemen. In regards to your comment on the skill needed to fill potholes, I have observed that crack crew. One guy sits in the truck smoking a cigar, reading a paper, and spitting out the window. One guy holds a shovel. One guy holds a weighted device for tapping tar into another hole. One guy stands by the side of the road with a red flag, and another guy just kind of stands there and watches it all. And they say technology is dead in America.
I hate it when you peel the back off of a Band-Aid and the Band-Aid rolls up on itself and you can't get it unstuck.
p.m. Dick, I've recently finished watching Jill's favorite, Duck Soup, and I've got to tell you I've got an ulcer. This show is nothing more than duck droppings on lily pads. The comedy involved is missing. The laughs involved are lacking. Buffalo Bill, please come back. I don't know where in Cheektowaga you're hiding, but I beg of you, please come back. We can't take any more duck cookies, duck crackers, or bad jokes.
6 a.m. Friday. If you compare the commentaries of Dick Tobias on radio and TV with the nebulous proposals for solving America's problems by the rest of the presidential candidates, you may agree that Dick would make a better president than any of the rest of them. So that solves our dilemma. Let's write in Dick Tobias for president. And as his unknown and appointed, self-appointed manager, this is my first campaign speech for Dick. Write in, write on. Then Tobias for Rochester's mayor if he doesn't make it to Washington. He'd shake up City Hall fast.
Hampering and
April 27th, 8:25. I'd like to know why and who the irresponsible person is who opened the floodgates in the Genesee River, sending all the debris down the Genesee River. They have impeded the safety of all the fishermen out in Lake Ontario from Oak Orchard all the way to Putneyville. I think it was totally irresponsible of RG&E to do this and send all the mud and stuff and ruin the fishing for a multi-million-dollar fishing derby. I hope someone gets to the bottom of this. Thank you very much.
My grouch is the roads in Rochester. I'm from New York City, and I thought they had the worst potholes. But Rochester takes the cake. I've changed my tires a couple of times already. My shocks are in total disorder, and I wish they'd do something about it.
My daily grouch, today I'll couch in this poetic form and hope this rhyme is used in time to start a major storm with protest loud that will not cloud the violations here of litter laws that soon will cause new litters to appear of rats galore we all abhor but little do about, except to call on City Hall and only rave and shout. Let's make our cause respect for laws with fines for any slob who rodents feed and will not heed the rat starvation job.
April 30th, 4:30. I have a big grouch, and it's not only women's fault, but most everybody. I drove home from work, and I swear people need an education in driving. I think everybody today should take another driving test, and 95% will fail. And by the time I got home, I was a little balder than Dick Tobias. Thank you.
Your 5 o'clock newscast on Monday night said that the Women's Coalition Group is going to do a study to see how they can improve nightlife in downtown Rochester. I'd really like to know what they know about nightlife in downtown Rochester, or what they know about anything for that matter. Thank you.
Today is April the 30th, and it is 21 minutes after 7. My grouch is pedestrians. How come, what do they think they are? I mean, here I am driving a 2-ton car, and they just kind of walk out there like, I dare you to hit me. The car is 2 tons. Why don't we talk about pedestrians instead of the driver sometime?
This is Tuesday the 1st at 7:18. I'm just a poor boy up here from a little town in East Tennessee. But down there, when we'd have power problems, the power company would keep on it until they got everybody's power back on. Now, I called RG&E this morning, and they said that even though ours had been off almost 12 hours, that they were taking a 4-hour break, and then they were going to try it again.
May 1st at 8:45, in reference to the scalping of the hockey tickets, I feel that we should be able to make an extra buck, and if people are willing to pay for the tickets, then what the heck's wrong with it? Thank you.
I'd like to mention it's nice over on 390 west of the city, between Buffalo Road and Shiloh Avenue, where they put the tulips in the center median. There's 2 round circles of yellow tulips. It's kind of a desolate median strip out there. It's kind of run down, but it's nice that the tulips are there. I'd like to commend the people who put them out there.
Officer Mike is really all right, but none can compare with Officer Gare. He's our guy in the air.
Good morning, gentlemen. You too, Dick. Lovely 2nd of May we have here, and Richard, I must say I'm getting a little tired of you picking on Watertown. It's a beautiful city, and at least I can walk down the streets there at night and still come out with my skin, which has a tendency not to happen in Rochester. Thank you.
Good morning, gentlemen. I have just one thing to say to the RG&E. I'd like to build a house, a new house, but I don't want as much as you gave Xerox. Only $1 million would take care of me. Thank you.
If summer comes on a Sunday in Watertown, we have a picnic. How dare you tear down such a place? Go to Governor and find out what dull really is.
I'm calling in response to the gentleman's call this morning about his power being off during the storm. During a storm, our G&E linemen barely get a chance to rest. They work day and night to get our power back on. This gentleman thinks he can do a better job. Maybe he should look into a career as a power lineman, but then he wouldn't have a chance to call in on the grouch line. Thank you.
My complaint is about the banks again. It's always been possible in the past to choose between a checkbook that tears off at the left and a checkbook that tears off across the top. Now some of them are eliminating the one that tears across the top. This makes it very awkward for left-handers to write their checks, particularly when you get down to the bottom of the book.
I'd like to address the gentleman that called about complaining about the roadblocks last weekend in Rochester. Evidently, he never had anybody that was killed by a drunk driver. I have a girlfriend that was killed going off the interstate. The drunk driver came up the wrong ramp and killed her. I had 4 classmates that got hit while they were crossing the road by a drunk driver. He wiped out every one of those. How much does he consider a human life to be worth? Half an hour?
And I would like to tell my neighbors to keep their cats in their own yard and to stop killing my birds and squirrels. They're really becoming a nuisance in Webster. Thank you.
My grouches, Channel 31 is introducing where they have an Elvis Presley movie on Sunday, and they're saying that Elvis Presley is the Michael Jackson of the 50s, where Elvis Presley is, after all, the king of rock and roll. So let's face facts.
This is the captain. We're back in the van, helping out motorists wherever we can. It's Gary in the air and the captain on the ground, patrolling the roadways of this Rochester town. We cover the expressways in all of Monroe County. And yes, it's all free, for we accept no bounty. So smile and wave as we go by, for who knows tomorrow, maybe your car will die. This is for Mr. Tobias. We know Mr. Tobias thinks of us as Captain Crunch, but what does he know? He's always out to lunch.
I've got a question. Why is it that the Rochester Police Department finds plenty of time to write parking tickets but never has time to help disabled motorists?
While I was driving 490 eastbound through the can at Penfield Road, I observed Sheriff's car number 604 in a non-emergency status, passing the car on the right-hand side, crossing the solid line. This is clearly marked no passing. This was a flagrant display of disregard for the law, but the Sheriff's Department is above the law. Right, Sheriff Maloney?
I want to respond to the infidels who called up about the state police roadblock, and they only made one arrest. Suppose that one arrest that night, and they took that person off the road, prevented later that evening from killing someone. Maybe even you, sir, maybe even a member of your family. I think that's what it's all about, and I'm glad it's out there. Thank you.
Dick, will you please quick tell us every 15 minutes how the weather is? We know it's lousy here in Rochester. It's raining all the time. The sun never comes out. You're driving along all day. I keep on hearing you, telling me how the weather's going to be all day. It's raining. I'm hitting all the potholes in Rochester. Then I think of the high New York State taxes, and it really depresses me. Thank you very much.
Yes, this is for the rather strange lady who called concerning the subject matter for B, the final battle, being too rough for kids. Well, first of all, B was excellent Star Trek-style philosophical science fiction, the likes of which have not been seen on TV for years. Secondly, I suppose gladiatorial games, slavery, persecution, and the orgies in the last days of Pompeii are better. And thirdly, lady, what business is it of yours?
Hey, guys, I got an idea how to get rid of the national deficit. You cut off foreign aid to all these countries that aren't coming to the Olympics, and you use that money to pay off our deficit. Why should we give them money when they're using politics for the Olympics?
I'm into horses, and I just heard Rich Funke's commentary on the 1988 Olympics. I'd like him to call me and explain to me what a white palomino is. I have 5 horses of my own, and I've never heard of a white palomino. Thank you.
I think that this Moon guy here who got arrested was about the best thing that the country did. Convenient to
taking all the money from everybody with all those people he brainwashes and everything else. I think it's about the best damn thing they've ever did.
Of course the Soviets want to see Walter Mondale or Gary Hart in office. They won't. They support the nuclear freeze, and so they can up their nuclear weapons against us. I say they don't want to come to the Olympics. We don't want them here anyhow.
Yeah, I've been a proud and loyal Yankee fan for years. I'm really proud of George Steinbrenner for not interfering with his team this year. Old and deep wounds need time to heal, and if George puts his nose where it doesn't belong, the wound becomes infected, thus keeping the team from performing at its best. The Yankees will move slowly up the ladder this year, only if Steinbrenner remains at the bottom. Thank you.
Nice prediction, Richard Funky, our great sports announcer here in Rochester. Tomorrow's supposed to be the day of the parade here in Rochester, honoring our second straight Calder Cup. Please refrain from making predictions, Rich, and just give reporting the news as your priority. John Bednarski on TV coverage. I can't believe in a city this size we can't do better than a color man using John Bednarski in the booth. Rick Peckham was the only plus on any TV coverage I've seen in hockey here in this town.
Good morning, guys. I'd like to say one thing to Bob Matthews. Bob, you got one. I'm giving you a head start. Put this on the headlines tomorrow. The Amherst fans are number one. They're the best supportive team for 1983 and 84. And also, don't have your article tomorrow. Just put that for the headlines. Forget about writing about anything about the Amherst. You're wrong throughout the whole series. Just take the summer off and wait till next year. You got 2.5 months before the Amherst start up again. And you guys have a nice day, too.
Oh, to be a Kennedy. All this investigation into David's death. If my son had died of a drug overdose, they wouldn't have brought up a full-scale search to where he bought it from. Of course, my children weren't born with a silver cocaine spoon stuck up their nose. He had a free will, and he bought it, and he killed himself. Just because somebody was stupid enough to sell it to him doesn't mean they should pay for everything.
I'm sick of these people that have no phone manners. They give you a wrong number. Hey, don't mouth off to me. I'm not the idiot that dialed the wrong number, and I'm sick of this. I get about 4 a day, and they sit there and they swear because they dialed the wrong number, and I ain't gonna listen to this no more.
And I'd just like to call to complain about friends who don't pay back loans. I have an outstanding loan right now of about $600, and I'm tired of the lines of friendship being stretched to the point of exasperation. Thank you very much.
What's with this Reagan every week on Tuesday nights got to give some kind of a crazy speech? Why doesn't he go back to Hollywood if he wants to hog the media? I'd like to watch my favorite programs after a hard day's work. Thank you.
I just read in the paper where the police officer's son got caught for buying beer, and he's 17 years old, and there's no charges. How can it be against the law for a bar to sell it to him, against the law for a grocery store to sell it to him, but this kid, it's not wrong for him to buy it? Why isn't it against the law for him to buy it? He's the one causing all the trouble. Where's our justice? Get DWIs where they start. Get the kid.
Now, granted, teachers have an awful tough job, but I find it hard to sympathize with them, and when after each of the 180 days a year they work, they come out, hop in their brand new cars, and drive home to the apartment dwellings that they own. Thank you.
(23rd) at 8:45. You know, guys, I think the world's getting too complicated. What used to be a turn signal is now a windshield washer, a high-low, or a windshield wiper, cruise control. I think we ought to get back to the basics and get back to using it as turn signals. Too many people aren't using it for that. They're using it just as someplace to hang their rubber bands and use their high-low beams.
This is Dorothy. Crossing over the line with no one to talk to is lonely. Sadness is only looking into their eyes and seeing nothing. How can I laugh about it anymore, not closing my eyes again? Can't live a lie when all I see is truth. Let's turn the lies into truth.
I think that next day that Jesse Jackson comes back from another mission, that all the newscasters on the network and local television across the U.S. should wear big peace signs over their suit coats for the whole newscast. I think I'd rather die of old age than burn to death. Might be better for my soul.
O'clock 2:29. Yeah. I'm calling for the women of Rochester. You got great bodies and great legs. Keep it up, women of Rochester, because you're doing good. And don't let no man get you down, because any man can get you down, can't lift your spirits up. Keep doing good with those great legs and those great behinds. Bye.
Hi, I think it's, what day is it? Saturday, 3 o'clock in the morning. Took the screen off my window. I got a new friend, beautiful little moth. Told her I loved her, and she's been in my room for days. Such a nice little friend. Bye-bye.
Where do the people on the tall ships go to the bathroom? In Lake Ontario? In the St. Lawrence Seaway? You better check this out. That's all, folks.
Well, I've been calling all the radio stations in Rochester today for a request. From the Game by Queen. Don't try suicide. You can't be a PRIC teaser all the time. Bye.
Yes, are the tall ships gonna stop the #1 bus from going all the way to Shalers this weekend? And I would like to hear Sink the Tall Ships by Johnny Horton and Rock the Tall Ships by the Youth Corporation. And
Good morning. I'll tell you something, guys. You can tell when the advertisers have got you right where they want you. I woke up in the middle of the night last night, went to fluff up my pillow, and the thought pops into my head. It's a squished flat mess. Oh, my God.
Well, I would like to know, and I'd like to talk to somebody, and I don't get on a damned old recording. I would like to know why they took off Lawrence Welk. I know it's been some time, but there was nothing said on the air as to why. There's still a few decent elderly people who would like to hear something besides your damned old rape and the rest of this crap that they have on television. I also would like to know why they took off Little House on the Prairie. Anything that's decent, they take off, but yet they can screw in everything else putting her on the telephone or on the television. And I think it's disgusting. There are a few decent elderly people left. The young ones aren't much damn good today, but the older people have a lot of respect. And why can't we have...
I hope somebody at your station had watched the movie Mistral's Daughter by Judith Krantz. There's a woman, there's a sexy redhead who's scornful. As they say, there's no fury like a woman scorned. I says, as far as I'm concerned, each man in school should be taught something about a woman's scornful act, and that's my opinion for today.
Yes, I think when the Vice President Bush goes home and pay his tax just like everyone else in this country, all those big fat people, they make a good buck. They pay no tax, very, very little, and we pay so much tax. Every penny we make, we have to dish it to them to support all these people. Thank you.